I don't think it is. Can you tell me the you can turn off your video at night.
Làm quả nào đâu không đừng chắc là hợp với ông ấy. Chắc là hợp với ông không tôi cũng đang thể hợp tôi còn ngu rồi cũng là một ý tưởng ấy. Được rồi sắp mở lại cái lớp rồi.
Yeah, because of All right, welcome in everyone for our Bridging AI and Software guest speaker event. We have Yash here from Intel, and we'll get started now. Shall we start? Yeah. So, visible.
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Yash Gupta. I'm a senior software engineer at Intel, and I'm here to deliver a speech on bridging AI and software engineering for tomorrow. Uh, how many of you all are from like computer science or software or data science background? Any non-tech background? No. Cool.
Yeah, I would.
So let me start by introducing myself. So uh, yeah, so I'm a software engineer at Intel here in Arizona, and I'm mostly involved in performance optimization of database workloads, OLAP and OLTP kind of databases. So like each database has to go through a kind like process of benchmarking, and through the benchmarking results, like throughput, like number of queries per second, you compare different database performance. Like if you have to compare MongoDB with Redis or MySQL, there has to be a benchmark through which you can compare. So my job is to basically make such software, specifically databases, work smoothly on the hardware so that they are able to leverage the features of hardware. So we work with ISVs and CSPs, like cloud service providers and independent software vendors. And recently, since GenAI has picked up, so a lot of traditional databases have started to implement vector databases, and large language models are being deployed on GPUs. So there is a need to benchmark and optimize these LLM models as well. You must have heard that um, Facebook LLM models like Llama or GPT models are like, you must have heard news about competitive nature between AMD and NVIDIA, Intel. So basically, there is a need to optimize the software so that they can fully leverage the hardware. Um, Before this, I was working at Goldman Sachs as a data analyst and a software development engineer, mostly working with building business intelligence tools. They have a internal tool called Legend. So yeah, and Before that, I was working as a full stack software developer at United Nations. And over there, I was working with a web application, and it like introduced me to the SDLC cycle. Like if you are all from the software background, you must be knowing software development life cycle. So this was the first time I actually got a real life experience of how the entire life cycle works. And finally, with EY, I had started my career as a data analyst again, working with Tableaus, building dashboards, testing, yeah, and preparing a government request for proposals. But here today, we are here to talk about Gen AI and how it impacts the life of like professionals of all domains, not specifically software engineers. So until now, uh, whenever anyone used to talk about AI or ML in the industry, mostly the work used to happen in the supervised learning domain, unsupervised reinforcement learning, but mostly in supervised. But since Gen AI, like LLM models, like GPT models, everyone must have used Chat GPT or some Llama model, right? So now the landscape is shifting from supervised learning to Gen AI. That is the area where most of the research and work is happening. So yeah, so these are the recent trends in AI. Supervised learning model, and large language models came, then vector databases, like every traditional database, Redis or maybe SAP HANA, everyone is implementing vector database search. That is the need of the hour. And then on top of that, RAG models. Does everyone know about RAG models? Or so, as we all know, large language models, these are trained on like large volumes of data which was there before 2021. And now like every year or every day we are generating so much of data, so it will be very expensive to again train or update the weights of the model of the neural network and again train the model on the latest data. So for that we have vector database searches where you can basically embed the new data, put it in the database in the vectorized form as you do it in a traditional database. And now RAG is basically combination of LLM and vector database search. So whatever is after 2021, year 2021, you give that in the prompt, it fetches the related data from the vector database search, enhances your prompt, and gives it to the LLM model so that it has more reference or context. After RAG, also like there are new developments in the industry. If anyone has heard about knowledge graphs, AI agents, those are the directions where now the trend is heading. Um, Mistral AI is another area where a lot of work or jobs are being created. So how is AI transforming traditional software development? Think of AI as the electric drill in carpenter's toolkit. It doesn't replace the carpenter, but makes their work faster, more precise, and efficient. Similarly, AI is enhancing how developers build software. So basically, it is not replacing a software developer's job or any like coding job. It is just making it faster, efficient. Like by automating repetitive tasks, it can automate code reviews, testing, debugging, like GitHub Copilot, if anyone has heard. So that can help fasten the development process. Like you can have a software version 1 of your application in very less time. It can save you hours of manual coding. It can help you generate boilerplate template codes. It enhances productivity, and also in IDEs, if anyone has used Visual Studio Code, Atom, or any online IDE, it has been integrated over there as well. To give you an example, Um, People know about Google Colab. So basically, if you see it, it has a text start coding on generate with AI. So it can help you auto-complete or even generate. Like even if someone wants to implement a very super simple, like some code or some function to solve some problem, you can just write it in normal English. For example, so basically, I just wrote a simple function to add two numbers, and it automatically generated the code. This was a very simple example, but this can assist you in writing like bits and pieces of a large or complex function. So it can enhance your productivity or uh, the way you deploy. So it is transforming the future of software development. Now coming to how does AI powered code generation affect the industry? What if you could code, if you can write code by simply describing what you need? That's the promise of AI powered code generation. We just saw that, right? So yeah, there are tools like GitHub Copilot, Amazon Code Whisper. Another interesting thing is lower barrier to entry. Beginners can use AI to learn coding by example. This is for students or someone who wants to learn something new, technical, non-technical. I will come to this point in just next slide. I will elaborate on this. Over reliance on AI can lead to poorly optimized code or security vulnerabilities. This also we will see it in like some live hands-on code or demo here. So an good analogy could be AI code generation is like a GPS. It helps you reach the destination faster, but you still need to know how to drive. It can just show you the path. You still have to know how to run it or how to fix it. So coming to the point of lower barrier to entry. So earlier, only those kinds of businesses or applications could leverage AI or ML or any of these advanced algorithms, which had a lot of user traffic or need, like web search engines or there is another one, web search engines or maybe Amazon recommendation systems, which could actually monetize. Because, say, example, Netflix, because they have such a large customer base, it actually makes sense for them to use these models. But say for smaller business use cases or applications like food inspection, wheat harvesting, material grading, or others, it would not make sense to personally employ such models to have a native data center and train such huge LLM models or even any ML algorithm. So the cost surpasses the the value. But now, since these LLM models or in general ML AI have become so accessible, there are so many endpoints, open sourced APIs also, that businesses like which or use cases like food inspection, wheat harvesting, these can also now leverage the use of these algorithms and improve the quality of the food or basically the output of the wheat. So now it is cost effective, and that is why it is able to now be used in small businesses as well. So these are some application areas of generative AI in software development. NLP tasks, you must be using ChatGPT. Um, that is NLP, natural language process. Anything which is basically analyzing or working, any ML algorithm working on your text in tokens, it is related to NLP. Algorithm optimization, if you just write some algorithm, some code in any language, maybe it is O of n square complexity, or maybe it is complex, space wise or time complexity is huge. You can use generative AI to optimize it. Code refactoring, maybe some unnecessary variables or some unnecessary usage of memory. So you can basically refactor or optimize your code. Automated testing and quality assurance, you can even write test cases. It can find the edge cases which normally we might skip. Code generation and augmentation and UI UX, you can improve data generation and bug detection. So these are some of the areas where all the companies are trying to monetize AI. You must have heard AI, like Gen AI, has no company till now has been able to monetize, like make money or make it profitable. So these are the application or use cases where everyone is trying to improve or like make money out of these applications. Some memes. So uh, we have seen all the positives of the Gen AI, but let's say there are some like a lot of bugs in the code, and you just like take one down, like patch it around or just fix one. It can lead to like breaking of the other functions, right? It can lead to more problems. So there are positives, but with positive comes the negatives. So AI replacing developers, reality versus hype. I was told by Pavel, I think your GDG president, that this is $1 million question. Like, will AI replace developers? What's the reality? Is it just a hype? So the short answer is no, but it will change how they work. So it's not a replacement. It handles repetitive tasks, like freeing developers to focus on creativity and problem solving. Fear of job loss is exaggerated. It lacks ability to understand complex business requirements. So basically, think AI or ML as like they are the laborers or manual worker, and you are the brain. So whatever you tell, whatever brain gives the logic or defines the requirement, it has only capability to blindly follow it. So developers will shift from writing code to designing systems and training AI models. So it's basically like a junior chef in a kitchen. It like mixes all the ingredients to make the dish, but the recipes of the head chef, right? So companies like Google, Microsoft, they are still hiring thousands of developers, but their roles now include working with AI tools. So if they are developing these AI tools or just able to add value to generate generic purpose software or applications, those application needs to be embedded into your custom solution or product, right? For that also, they will need engineers to implement or write the custom, do the custom magic. So everyone know from this meme, Tom was the I think first character to get replaced or lose job by a robot. Yeah, but I think finally the lady had kicked out the cat and brought back the Tom because again it is a machine. Yeah, it cannot adapt to dynamic uh, environment. This is another very famous I think meme that the manager asks, why should I hire a software engineer if I can just copy and paste code from Stack Overflow? This is pre chat GPT era. So this is the best answer. I wish I could have given this to my manager. Copying code from Stack Overflow is like just $1, like even if they make it paid. But knowing which code to copy from Stack Overflow is like 100,000 or yeah. So nowadays there is even interesting thing going on with Stack Overflow. So till now, like every software developer or any person, like even if non-technical, like someone has written an answer or something to support the community, it was purely non-profitable, free, right? But these LLM models, they so you must have heard since ChatGPT or these DeepSeek LLM models, the traffic on Stack Overflow has reduced a lot because now developers or anyone just no one wants to spend time googling or like spending hours on Stack Overflow finding which answer is most upvoted or which one is the best. Directly go to these chat applications and get the result. But how are these getting the answers that you ask, right? So these models are trained on Stack Overflow from the answers that you guys provided, which was meant to be non-profitable. So now I think there is uh, some development going around that if the LLM model is using your answer to, if your answer is being used to give the answer in the chat GPT or any such application, I think the contributor is also rewarded something. So like companies are trying to exploit how to how to make the best out of it. So the rise of no code or low code platforms, should software engineers be worried? If anyone can build an app without coding, do we still need software engineers? So tools like Bubble, Webflow, Microsoft Power Apps, they allow non-developers to create apps. So basically, maybe our parents or maybe school kids, like junior kids, they can just write something and like what you are learning in the college or maybe in your job, they can just implement that. A 5-year-old or parents who do not have any background in tech. So software engineers should be worried. Like they literally wasted like 5 or 10 years like, that they invested. The answer is no. So these platforms create demand for custom integration, plugins, and advanced features. Like in real world, no one wants a very standard application. Like you would not ever see any live application which is like literally drag and drop and which is actual product in the industry. So it can just give you a very basic working application, but if you want any customization or like if you want to improve the scalability or want to implement some new function or add functionality, you need again developers or yeah professionals, whoever is concerned. So no code platforms or just drag and drop platforms are great for simple app but struggle with complex and scalable solutions. So a good analogy which I found using ChatGPT only, like I took help from ChatGPT to come up with these analogies. So no code platforms like IKEA furniture. They are like IKEA furniture. They are great for simple needs, but for a custom built house or some furniture, you need an architect and a builder. So a real world like industry example is Zapier, a no code automation tool used by businesses to streamline workflows, but developers are needed to integrate it with custom systems. So this is another drawback, at least which I have faced multiple times for my personal projects and even at work, though it is not allowed to use. But so if it would have taken me 2 hours, but and some bugs come, I can debug it in maybe 6 hours maximum. But let's say you generate a code from ChatGPT or just randomly copy paste anything from Stack Overflow. If you try to fix it, it takes a lot more time. A common practice is if it is taking a lot of debugging or a lot of time, you just erase that entire function and write from scratch. Otherwise, you are basically getting misled or misguided by the wrong function implementation. So let's try to do some activity, which is let's challenge, say, Chat GPT to clone a similar resume, like to prove that it cannot be used to build custom or complex applications or custom functionality. So this is the kind of um, resume. At least when I was a college student, I always wanted to build this. Never developed this much because I've found it to be overkill. But yeah, if someone is looking for a software engineering, UI, UX, or software developer kind of a job, so I would recommend, like, at least it's a great idea to like build such kind of a resume. So basically, it is in your resume is in the form of Mario game. So it tells about the experience and like, so you are basically showing off your developer skills, right? And basically showing that what all projects you have done or what all experiences you have gained and some contact information. So say in the live interview, if you share the screen and the first question is, can you tell me about yourself or walk me through your resume? This way you are giving two messages. You are first answering or you are introducing yourself as well as showing off your development skills. It's a kind of a validation. So do you think chat GPT or AI will be able to generate such kind of a resume? A simple resume it can very easily generate. We can try that also. So let's see what it generates. One second. Yeah, this is a very simple prompt. Let's see if what it is able to generate. So it is writing some HTML, like created a canvas, uh, and it is trying to write some JavaScript. It only just wrote it in entire HTML. Okay. So one sec. Hello. So if you see, we just pasted the code generated by ChatGPT um, in index HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and this is what it has created. Like it has created a like kind of a very basic or a boilerplate template code, but like you need a lot of like now you will have to go to each and every function and uh, like ask or prompt ChatGPT to write the code and explain the functionality so that it may come up with the working code, but you still need expertise or some experience or know how to fit in into like the code snippet that the GPT model creates into your working model. But if you would have asked the same thing, let's say, um, let's create a new chat. Let's ask, can you create a simple standard portfolio for a software developer applying for web dev? Let's try to create index2.html and see what it has created. So this is just the HTML code. Let's also add CSS and JavaScript. Also add CSS for styling and making it one second. So yeah, it created a like very simple boiler like template, and like it is probably responsive as well. So you can add, like it does not have permissions to add or create images. So you can just link images, and you can pretty easily get a very standard portfolio or a resume, right? Like I think I created one using, like I could create this kind of portfolio uh, through chat GPT. So yeah, like you can also create such kind of uh, portfolio, and it could be helpful to showcase your skills. Like if someone is applying for engineering job or in non-technical, you can develop kind of a non-technical kind of a resume. Like an architect can show some kind of buildings, and over there you are showing your experience. So coming back to the slides. So through this slide, we saw, like in this example, that with just a simple instruction or with just a single prompt, it is not very easy to clone. Like this is a quite a famous resume. At least this used to be the benchmark for a good software developer, or this is what was expected from a software developer before Gen AI. Why should every software developer know the basics of AI or ML in 2025? So in the coming years, AI ML will be as fundamental to software development as the internet is today. Like for all the software engineers, like if there is any problem, even for non-technical people, I think there used to be a saying that to be a good software developer, you should know, you should be good at Googling. Like you should know how to Google and find the answer. So similarly, AI ML will be like same fundamentally as internet today. That you should know how to prompt or work with AI or ML tools to be able to develop. AI is everywhere, from recommendation systems to chatbots. AI is embedded in most applications. Earlier, I remember there used to be like dedicated hiring for like engineers who would develop these chatbots. Now, these could be generated very easily with TensorFlow and some few APIs, and it's done. Career growth. Developers with AI ML skills are in high demand and commanding high salaries. It is able to better solve problems. Understanding AI helps developers build smarter and more efficient solutions. Um, yeah, again, an analogy. Knowing AI ML is like learning a new language. It opens doors to new opportunities and helps you communicate with the future of tech. Yeah, Netflix, everyone knows it uses the recommendation system. It's trained on a recommendation system algorithm. So AI won't replace you. Someone using AI will. So at least like I have been into tech from, I think, almost last 6 7 years, starting from like my internships, my other work experiences, like starting from undergrad. um at least that time, I remember there used to be uh, a company used to hire DevOps engineer for deploying like all the AWS and all this EC2 machines and all those kinds of deployment to the production or development environments, or handling VMs. All those used to be the job of a DevOps engineer. ML engineers, then there used to be a section of like ML or AI engineers, software developers who would basically develop some application or some website, add functionality or some maintenance work. Um, and then there used to be applied machine learning or AI engineers, which whose task was basically to whatever ML or research engineers have researched or discovered, they would try to develop some function or kind of an API, like a SaaS or like function as a service or software as a service, and expose it for the software developers or the outside world. Slowly, like how the transformation is taken is now I rarely hear a company hiring DevOps engineer because a software engineer is expected to know DevOps. Like it's reading some documentation and just deploying it. Software engineers are expected to be able to deploy or know how to work in the production environment. Then now from the point of applied AI engineering, you have seen all these LLM applications or like ChatGPT, Llama, DeepSeek, uh, a live application deployed for RAG, which I discussed earlier, is Perplexity. That is also getting quite famous, and it is actually more. It avoids hallucinations because it also gives you the links. Because if you ask any question, it will give you the reference link also where it is pulling that information, and can also answer information which was posted after 2021. All these applications are like the like working with these applications used to be the job of applied ML engineers. Now that is also expected from software engineers only, because it is software engineering is just writing functions or something to request or get data from an API, get it in JSON or something, and basically deliver the functionality, right? So it is no longer like separate. Like maybe applied ML engineers or AI engineers are still being hired, but those are mostly for optimizing or maybe uh, researching ways to improve the existing LLM models. An ML engineer is, at least I have seen, mostly those are the PhD graduates, because uh, you need to know or know the understanding why this model is working. If you ask a question, why is it able to give you an answer? Like to us, it is acting like a black box right now, that it's the trust that you are asking a question and it will return an answer. You don't care what is happening between the in the black box, right? So for ML engineers, that is what is required to, because they are developing these new models also. They are just exploiting the existing model and trying to optimize on the neural network weights so that it gives a more precise answer. Just maybe optimizing or discovering a new error function so that it can converge to the result faster. So they need to know how these things are working or how layers are interacting. So that is how software engineering landscape is changing. So even software engineers need to know at least how to use these tools, or how to what this model is doing, or how you can best or make best use of these APIs. Uh, Embracing the AI-driven future of software development. So the future belongs to those who embrace change, start exploring AI today, and start ahead in the game. It is a tool, not a replacement. Developers must adapt to new technologies like AI-powered code generation and no-code platforms, so that they are able to provide or build custom solutions and integrate them into the app. It is essential for future proofing your career. So other than these AI or ML models being invented, coded, or no code generation platforms, all these things. So for web, say for example, for web development, the medium to interact with web applications of the software used to be the browser. For mobile applications, it used to be maybe your Android or some mobile phones, right? What do you think is going to be the human interface to interact with the Gen AI applications? Right now, it's some web application only, right? ChatGPT.com or Perplexity.com or maybe your mobile apps. So where do you think the industry is heading towards? They're inventing or deciding what would be the medium in where we will interact with these AI applications. Does anyone like have any thoughts? Yep.
I feel like it's gonna be integrated into something like, say, if you have a laptop, and that's gonna be AI integrated into there, so that you would be able to use it straight from your computer. Everyone would have their own personal AI.
Yes, that is one thing. Yeah, that is good. Anyone else? Yep.
It'll be integrated into wearable devices such as watches.
Yeah, exactly. So if you see, this was quite a this is a student from MIT, I think, and it shows a device that he had created, wherein someone asks a question, and it I think it somehow measures the neural signal or something, intercepts them, Googles them, and basically it gives you the answer. Like somewhat like I think that Elon Musk effort, like put some chip in the brain and like so that you have the entire internet in your head. So this is very far-fetched. I don't know. There are a lot of concerns, but yeah, like a life example is that Meta's Ray-Ban glasses, right? Your example was Siri and all these like Microsoft and like Cortana and everyone. They have these implemented, right? But right now, for to ask or access these applications, you have to open your mobile phone, type something, or maybe speech to text or text to speech, right? Or use the web application. But so yeah, these devices are like they are figuring out what will be the medium to interact with the AI in the future. Like they want something new other than the standard web applications or mobile devices. Yeah. Other than this, yep. Thank you. Any questions? Yep.
It's just a little bit random, but because nowadays people do search a lot on ChatGPT, what's your stance for future Google? Like when it comes to searching up things, would people still search things on Google or?
So it has two answers. I don't. We were having this discussion some time back. I don't know the exact the technical term of the business world, but let's say Google. Google has Google search also and Gemini also, right? So if they want Gemini to succeed, like similar to ChatGPT, right? So the number of users are the same. They will either search on Gemini or on the Google search. Both are like kind of a opposite kind of products, right? If the traffic on one increases, the other one will definitely reduce, right? Uh, Substitute goods basically. So yeah, like if people are uh, searching their queries or using more of Gemini or these applications, definitely it will affect Google search. And it has. If you see already, Google search traffic has reduced a lot. I think that was also one of the reasons they reduced I think some ads cost or something a lot. They dropped a lot. But it cannot replace Google search because Google has the most latest information. These LLM models, since these are trained on prior data, like say 2021 or something. So it will not have, if you ask something about, say, Trump elections or like this US elections, it might hallucinate because it does not know. To these models, they only know world till 2021 or like until a certain year till which they are trained. So that is why there is a concept of vector databases, RAG models. And now to answer this also, Chat GPT, Gemini, all these models, if you see, these are generic purpose, right? You ask any question, technical, non-technical, business, journalist question, law question, anything, right? There was even a very famous case about some lawyer tried to file a case using Chat GPT, and all the cases which it referenced were false. They never existed. That's called hallucination, right? Um, so all these right now are like general purpose, trained on all sorts of data, which has bias and everything. That's why also Bard got like failed. Basically, it got failed because it was giving answers with the which were subject to some racial discrimination and things, right? Even if you search on Google today, I don't know if they've updated. If you search a school like school teacher or maybe person going to office, it will show you images of a male professional, or a school teacher will always be some female or some. So there is some bias in it. So that those are some disadvantages, but generic purpose. So let's say now he's a dentist and he does not care about coding and like some politics or something. He just wants an AI which is tailored to dentistry knowledge only. So that is Mistral AI. Because to update, there is vast amounts of data being generated, and it is very difficult to handle such huge amount of data with so much of bias. So what will he do is he will take he will train his own LLM model just on the dentist kind of a data, which he can foolproof the data. Also, it is free from, like, he can improve the quality of the data and train the model, and it will need less GPUs to train and less time, less cost. That is what most of the companies are doing nowadays. They are, because most of the code or data is proprietary, it is private. So we are not allowed to use Chat GPT or like these um, what we call. If I show you, I think it might not allow me to paste something. 1 second. It should give me an error or something. Okay, it is not giving. 1 second. Perplexity.ai. So this is a live RAG model. So it will give you even the links and all. See, it shows, it gives a warning. So many enterprises they limit the use. So that is also, like, that is why also software engineers are needed to develop, tune, and right now AI is not that mature to be able to understand your legacy code or how to fit in a working model, right? If Microsoft or Google starts generating their code entirely on the trust of these LLM models, their existing working products will also break. So that is where the direction is going. So that is also Google search traffic will reduce eventually, but it will come up with some substitute good. Yep.
Another question. So when it comes to ChatGPT, Perplexity, or like some AI, there is a research saying that you should be a little bit mad and mean to it. So like, how do you train them?
So there is a very famous paper in which it shows you can give a persona to these applications. You can tell it like act like a maybe like a strict professor, or like anything like what you were saying, right? That act like some like someone who would discriminate, or maybe a politician answer me like you are this or you are that, right? Or you can make it work, like act like an interviewer to practice your interview or learn something. Or you can ask, like, explain the concept of AI or ML to me as if I'm a 5-year-old kid. So how would it explain? So it will not use very hardcore tech terminology. It will explain it in a very, very simple way, as if it is talking to a 5-year-old. So yeah, like it just depends on the use case. Like nowadays, there's a very famous project application going on. Like you call these customer service numbers, right? You call a helpline number, and IVR systems, right? It, as soon as you call, like there is IVR system or pre-recorded, or maybe sometimes AI bots talking to you, like some bots IVR basically, or replaced by AI. Through your first like few like introduction, or maybe what you're calling about, only it will, through your tone or the words that you are using, it will judge what is your mood, or basically what is your concern and how should I be responding, tailored to that specific phone call user. And it will respond in the similar tone. Or if someone is very angry, it will first try to calm the person down. Right now, like that is where it is heading. Even for the manual, like the call center employees, the AI only gives them the options that this is what user is saying, or this is the tone. These are some suggestions that you can try to offer and try to solve. So basically you can give persona or some characteristic. You can make AI play as a character, some kind of a character. Yeah.
How do you keep yourself updated with what's the new in AI? Every day we see like so many different things happening. All of these companies are publishing papers just in the US itself, and then like there are different other parts of the world who are publishing papers. And just to keep yourself abreast with what's out there, what you can use like openly, what you can use in a beta format, and again what's just like a thinking but like might happen maybe like the next week itself. So how do you keep yourself abreast with all of this news?
So see again, how do I keep myself updated is, since this is a very new, still a very new area, like 2 or 3 years back only, first LLM, like GPT models have been there from a long time, based out of transformer. But because first time chat GPT's application, first time through chat GPT application, users were exposed to these models. And then yeah, it just basically became famous. Then the problem came of like old data, vector databases came, RAG came, these Mistral AI came, AI agents are there. So now LLMs have the what is happening is every day, what you are saying, that there are some new developments or advancements. It is just now improving or optimizing the response, or basically it's basically competition between different companies who was able to train such a huge, like say XYZ billion parameter model with such less cost. It's basically now software optimization. The underlying model, the concept is almost the same. Like uh, so if you know how a LLM model has been trained, or what is the architecture, or what is transformer learning, or how do neural networks work, that's why for software engineers it is very important to at least have some idea about these models. Rest is basically like whenever you want to work or have any specific use case, like Mistral AI, it is just the model is the same, you just change the data on which it is trained. Or maybe you change somewhat little architecture, you added some layer. Like for example, in in Bard because it was outputting some offensive content. Through them only, I think ChatGPT and all these latest public applications now have a final layer of check. They have added a layer in their neural network model that checks if it is offensive or not, so that it does not spits out something which turn out to be negative for the company, right? And the last thing is it is good actually because this field is so like evolving literally every day. A soft, like say for example, I can give a real life example. Like say a principal engineer in my company and me. Like he has 20 years of experience. Maybe I have 3 or 4 years of industry experience. With Gen AI, we both are at the same stage because he's also trying to figure out uh, how to implement or what things or how to develop it or tweak it or improve it. I have the same option or I have the same chance, right? Opportunity. So everyone is trying to figure out right now. So that's a good thing. Otherwise, in like traditional software engineering or something, someone who has more years of experience will he or she will know the product better, right? They will
Exactly to that point, like how do you keep yourself updated with what is happening now?
like, you just like if you are asking about myself, it is because I have to benchmark or have to test. Say some new Llama model came, I have to test on Intel hardware how it is performing compared with AMD or NVIDIA.
The question, I think I think there has been a disconnect. I was asking like what is a good news source or blog article or what where you get like okay this is a new you guys should go and read about it.
Like I generally get it through maybe some LinkedIn Andrew NG or some like Jensen or like Nvidia CEO or like just I just follow the news that like DeepSeek came, like it was already there from a long time, but it just blew the entire industry, right? That what Chat GPT or these models took almost like 60 million or something to train. 60 million, 60 billion, I don't know. And DeepSeek only got trained with I think $5 or $6 million. So that's why if you observed Nvidia stock just tanked. Like the big hype about AI was about to break. So yeah, that is how at least I keep myself updated. There is one good learning source if anyone wants to learn, deeplearning.ai. That is also where I try to learn, at least get started with what what vector databases are, or it's I think platform of Andrew NG only. So yeah, those are some places. Any more questions? Yep.
You worked with United Nations. It's almost like working as a software developer at
So the exact name of the United Nations, like for like software engineering, was 1 second. It was called UNOICT, Office of Information Communication Technology. It was in New Delhi, India. I was working on a LMS application. There, it was kind of since it is non for profit. It was we had to build some software application for kids in I think Africa or somewhere to like make like some school learning very easy or some interactive. So it was like the experience was good. Like they have like the people you meet like across the world, and they have like quite experienced developers, and they keep very like I learned a lot about the software testing and like the most important was the documentation. Like this is where I got introduced to the SDLC. I was I think working with the Asia head. His name was Chant Kaushik. So the things that we assume or we generally just skip. That is what was emphasized, and I learned basically mostly test and like how to prepare professional documentation and implement uh, some functions on Drupal. They used old technology definitely. Budget is low, or maybe the engineer, because like the old laid back mindset, because they knew PHP or maybe some old language like Drupal, they are using that. But yeah, because their main source, it's non for profit, right? They are not building something to monetize.
Personally interested in asking someone else also has like this other question. But it's so you're working in Intel right now and you work at more analyst. So how's like a perspective change, working at
Yeah. So let me introduce this by. So I did my undergrad in IT. There I was working in with like students and like professors, like normal RAs and all. It was in India. Then I joined EY. It was a fintech. It's a fintech company. So I got to work with the technical as well as non-technical people in such companies like EY and even Goldman Sachs fintech company. Uh, your immediate manager would understand or would be knowing the tech part, but if when you like if you're presenting it to the partner level or some client, the hard part is they do not understand the tech. So it's understanding the requirements and delivering it and explaining it. That is the most challenging part. So the culture, like that is how I got to know the culture. How is it to work in fintech? So I wanted to decide if I want to pursue a MBA or a master's. And then I went into a core kind of a development kind of a company, UN, into a pure hardcore software development role. Other than this, also I was working with the, I don't know but if you know Coding Ninjas and Commoodle. I was one of the early developers over there. After that, I came to US for masters in computer science from University of Southern California. I got to work with Goldman Sachs, again a fintech company. Um, Here they were building, like for example, you write SQL. It is trying to understand how that SQL gets parsed or how the computer understands that SQL. No, like they have their own internal language called Pure. So they are trying to just basically interpret like SQL is one language, but they had their own language. Maybe you write just in normal English, and how does it get transformed into a SQL? What is the SQL plan? If you want to join A, B, C, should I join A and B first and then C, or like which one should I join first to optimize the output? So they were working on their own platform, tool called Legend. It is live now. So Goldman Sachs experience, like training is very good. Like when you join, they build your foundations, like fundamentals, quite strong. You get to work with engineers from like US and you can like all across the country. So you learn how to handle like a bigger product in different times and like you get different perspectives. And then Intel. So basically throughout I have worked with students, professors, partners, like fintech, like hardcore tech companies. All of this, the mindset was just to try out that which one is interesting to me and how different worlds look or where do I want to go. Yep. Um,
and Yash and lot, Yash.
Thanks a lot. No worries.
Thanks a lot. It was pretty nice. Right, guys. You guys can line up at the back. We'll be giving out the pizzas and the Monster Energy drinks. I think we also have Alani, so you guys can try that out as well.